We're going to explore for loops a little bit more, and in order to prepare for that, I am inside my chapter7.java file, and I have commented out my previous code that is using while loops. Instead, I'm making a call to a new method that I've just written. So let's take a quick look at that method. Public static void hours and minutes. Doesn't return anything, doesn't take anything for the parameter list, just keeping it simple. Down in main, I've made a call to my hours and minutes method, and right now that's all my program does. So it does build and it does run, but doesn't do anything. So if you want to pause and get this all right in your code, then come on back and we'll continue with for loops. Okay, for loops. We've seen a basic for loop. Here's an example of one. I equals 0, I is less than 10, say I plus plus. A couple things about for loops, or 3 things about for loops. The counter doesn't have to be called I. 4 things about for loops. Number 1, the counter does not have to be called I. It can be any variable name you want. Number 2, it doesn't have to start at 0. It can start anywhere you want. Number 3, it does not have to, 10 is not operative here. It doesn't even have to have a less than sign. It could be greater than, it could be greater than equal. It just depends on what you're trying to test in here. It's most commonly something that starts at 0 and is a less than sign that is less than the number of times you want it to go. But it's not like you have to do it that way. Finally, I does not have to go up by 1 every time. So it can go up by more than 1. It can go, yeah, there's lots of different things that you all have control over. But let's see a very common for loop. This one will run 10 times and it will just print out the numbers from 1 to 10. Actually, let me go with printf and then I can continue with this thought in a minute. %d and the new line character. Let's see what this looks like. Build it, run it, missing format. Ah, man, I always do this, seriously. Okay, there's the numbers from 0 to 9. If I wanted them to be 1 through 10, I could just be printing out I plus 1. Okay, but I'll leave it like this for now. Well, it's very common to go up by 1 every time and to stop at a limit. Here's another situation in which we would do that. From 0 to 23, anybody? 24 hours in our day. Let's see what this looks like. You can probably guess, based on what we just saw. We should get the numbers 0 through 23, and 0 through 22. Did I really do that? I did. 24 hours in a day, 0 through 23. Okay, so now I got the numbers 0 through 23. If I want to make this look a little bit more like time, like 1600 hours or something, there's a couple things I can do to printf to fancy it up a little bit. And one of them is to control how wide, the amount of space my number takes up. So I would love it if these single digits would line up with the double digits, and it's really easy to do that using printf. Just before the d and after the %, you can put in a number that specifies how many columns wide you want your output to be. And then say after that number I want to just have like a colon and 2 zeros for like 2300 hours or etc. So here's what that output looks like. And this is just plain text. There's nothing fancy here. It's the %2d that is the formatting string. Let's have a look. Okay, so far so good. They're all lining up now. They're all 2 columns wide, even the single digit ones, and they've got some fanciness going on with the colon and the 2 zeros. Wonderful. In the next video, we'll see something even fancier, which is what happens when I start to put another loop inside this first loop.